The playoffs are here.
Hurts delivers. Brown touchdown.
So what do the Eagles have to do to beat the 49ers?
I like to see a much better scheme with motion for our wide receivers.
Plus, are we taking the Birds coordinators for granted? It's win or go home, so what time is it?
It's time to get fantastic! Woo!
From Fox 29 News, this is the Phantastic Sports Show, presented by NJM. No jingles or mascots, just great insurance.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Phantastic Sports Show.
Hey.
Jason and Breland, Tuesday before Wild Card Weekend. And Breland, I'm feeling good. You know what? I'm so confident I'm concerned about this game. Listen.
That was not where you were yesterday.
Nope.
Ran, raving, hooting, hollering
Well,
about...
I'd still rather be playing the Packers, but I still think they should be able to handle the Niners.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. You can
I
beat
know.
anybody
Just
in
give me
this
some time,
bracket.
Breland.
All right, so first things first tonight on deck, we do have to get into this wild card matchup here. Also, we're going to look at the AFC playoff picture as well, because that I think is where it's really going to be interesting this year, because there's no Chiefs, there's no Bengals, I think that's just going to be a time. And Black Monday was yesterday. We had 4 firings in 24 hours. Well, it is very much continuing.
Black Tuesday.
And it's Black Tuesday.
Breaking news, John Harbaugh from Baltimore out as head coach after 18 seasons.
Yeah, but he's not the only one. We've
Right.
got some coordinators taking the axe as well today.
Exactly.
So, lot happening. If you would like to weigh in after all the show is about you guys. So, super easy to do so. 215-915-PHAN, or scan that QR code on your screen. Or there's a secret third option. You can go to fox29.com/upload. Any way you do it. Selfie style video, please. Send it to one of those 3 places I just mentioned. You can find yourself on the Phantastic Sports Show. Super easy. You want to take a break and we'll be back in 30?
Yep.
Welcome back as we get things teed up. Jason, I had so much going on in my brain that I didn't even mention our guest.
Our awesome
Kyle
guest.
is here.
He always comes prepared. He always comes ready to go. Kyle Fisher, how are you?
Doing well. How are you guys? Happy holidays.
Yep.
Good. Happy holidays. Yeah, so you have been super, super busy because, and I'm so glad we're talking AFC with you in just a little bit. We'll do that next block. But Kyle actually travels around with CBS Sports, and you can give us a little bit more of the national perspective on things. So I love that you're here gearing us up for some wild card weekend fun, because I think this is going to be a really, really interesting weekend all around.
Yeah, I'm excited, and we didn't have the Chiefs nearly as much this year because of their struggles, so feels
Crazy,
like
right?
I finally saw the other half of the NFL.
The playoffs without Mahomes, without Lamar Jackson, and a few, and
No
maybe,
Joe.
just maybe, no Josh Allen if he loses on Sunday. We'll see.
crazy.
We'll talk about that game coming up. The big game, of course, we're all talking about is Eagles-Niners. Kyle, the more I dive into this game, and we'll have all week to talk X's and O's here, but the more I look at healthy teams, weather, which is, by the way, blustery on Sunday, which sustained winds over 30 miles an hour. So you look at those factors, health, because they rested the guys, which I was always in favor of. So you got to think Birds. You can see why this point spread is moving in the Birds' favor.
For sure. I think that they are, like you said, the healthier team. Oddly enough, this matchup is going to be a matchup of strength versus strength and weakness versus weakness. The offense for the Eagles has been struggling a little bit as of late. The injury bug has really bitten the 49ers on the defensive side of the ball.
Sure
so they
has.
are weak there. Hopefully the Eagles can muster up something, but their defense is the game breaker and will be the difference this weekend.
Can you play linebacker, Breland? Because the Niners could use you.
Why would I
right now.
ever step in for the Niners?
By the way, the Niners are my all-time football hate squad because I'm a kid from
Oh,
LA.
yeah, that's true.
LA and Bay Area, we just never get. I hated Montana.
Like
I hated.
always?
Oh, I hate the Niners.
Jerry
I hate
Rice is
the-
my favorite football player of
I
all
know,
time.
and he's great and everything, but they just I just couldn't stand that Niners team, and I still hate them. Let's go to the fan cam.
I like to see a much better scheme with motion for our wide receivers and crossing patterns so they can get open a little bit easier, and also for us to utilize our ultimate weapon, which is Dallas Goedert, who's been pretty much unstoppable this season. But of course, job one is that we can't turn the ball over, and especially give them short fields, or otherwise we'll be one and done.
Yeah. I do believe Dallas Goedert could have a big game with their linebacking core out. It's a great.
Yeah.
You can scheme up some screen plays, some passes, some short passes, especially with bad weather. You're not going to be throwing long balls out there. So, and by the way, a healthy offensive line. I'm really excited to see Lane back in there. We'll see how healthy he is, but he's going to play, I think.
Even a dinged-up Lane Johnson
Yeah.
is one of the best tackles in the NFL. I mean, early in the season, we talked about how the injuries among the offensive line helped contribute to the step back that the offense seemed to have taken, and their PFF grades across the board showed, except for Lane Johnson. So even though he was banged up, he dropped from the number 1 ranked right tackle to the number 3 ranked right tackle. Everybody else dropped at least 10 spots from last year to this year.
I think they'll be good. So the indications are Lane is trending in the correct direction.
Yeah.
Nakobe Dean also should be good to go, and
Huge.
I think that's a massive help, not just necessarily for his talents, but the way that he provides, the leadership factor and whatnot for him. I think as we talked about yesterday, the best decision was to get these guys as healthy as possible because that O-line has not played healthy all season long, and I think that's been the bread and butter, and it's a reason why they haven't been able to be as successful in the run game, and why Saquon Barkley hasn't necessarily seen. No, he still had over 1,000 yards, but a lot of those things are due to the fact that guys are playing hurt or guys aren't there at all, and I feel significantly better now that they've had a little bit of a bye, so to speak, and I feel great about this.
Well, especially because the last time Brock Purdy was here, he was on his back a lot. Well, and then he was on the sideline, and then he was in the tent.
Yeah.
And this defensive line is no different than that year's defense. I mean, as far as getting after the quarterback, they're playing their best football right now.
Yeah.
In a bad weather game, it could get ugly. I'm not saying they're going to hurt him or anything like that. I'm just saying it could be ugly. Let's go back to the fan cam.
It's been shown that if you can knock Brock Purdy off his spot, he throws interceptions, he stammers around. The one thing they need to do is get pressure on him frequently and violently if they want to win this game. And if they want to lose this game, you don't convert on third down. You're punting the ball, 3 and out. We've seen it all year. Can't do that.
No, but I do think they only need to score about 23 points and they can win this game. I think, and that's saying a lot because sometimes this offense has had trouble scoring that many points. I think that's all it would take in this game. So I like the under here. All right, we're going to play a little game called If and Then, okay?
I like it.
If
do it.
the Eagles do blank, then they will win. Mm-hmm. And here's mine. If they just don't turn the ball over. It's that simple. Don't turn the ball over. If you win the turn, and I'm talking about one turnover, and that could be the difference. If you have 0 turnovers, I'm telling you right now they win this football game. So that's my if and then. Breland?
Okay, so mine is if the offense can play 4 quarters of football, then they win this game. If they don't and they leave this defense hanging out to dry, I think this is an elite unit. They can absolutely shut down Christian McCaffrey. I think they can absolutely shut down, Kittle and company. Mm-hmm. That's not a problem, but you cannot have a time of possession like we saw with Chicago where it's basically 2-1.
Yep.
Can't be doing that. If you can play 4 quarters, consistent offense, no problem.
Yeah, Kyle?
I think that if they continue to get pressure, as you mentioned, and they are able to put Brock Purdy on the ground twice, sack him twice.
Wow, that's the magic
difference
number for you? 2 sacks?
Yeah, I tried to look back quickly, and I know he was injured part of this year, but half the games where he was sacked 2 or more times, he lost.
Oh.
And then the last 6 games of last season, if he was sacked 2 or more times, he also lost.
I like that stat. It's like such a little interesting little nugget.
It's an interesting discussion. Is this defense better than last year's at this time?
Yeah.
It's
they
close.
Are playing real
at this
high.
moment
Ever
of the
since
season.
getting Phillips in this building,
Yeah.
there has been a huge difference. It's allowed less double teams on Jalen Carter, and it has opened up the other side of the offense, or the defensive line for guys like Hunt, whoever you might want to. Anybody he would insert there.
And in the back half of the season, they've only allowed 55, I think, % of the passes against them to be completed. I mean, that's first in the league.
I can't wait for this game, and we should start the countdown. It's like 4 days now, and
don't ask me
12
to
hours.
I'm
I don't
in
know.
this profession.
All right, when we come back, Kyle, he's an AFC guy. He travels with CBS. He's on the sidelines, and he will have a game that he will talk about coming up next. That Bills game.
Yeah.
So we'll talk a little AFC playoffs coming up next. 1996, we were just talking about the blizzard of 1996, and that same year they played the Niners in the wild card round.
I remember the blizzard of 96.
Do you?
Yeah. I mean, I don't remember much, but I remember
Yep.
my mom putting me in a toboggan.
Oh.
And which is wild of her, because like Turkey Hill was like a mile away from us, and she pulled me all the way
Yep.
to Turkey Hill to get milk and stuff. So like that's the only thing I remember.
Well, we should talk about AFC wildcard. You know,
Yeah.
it's too much. Yesterday I was whining about not getting the 2 seed, so now I'm ready to move on to the matchups because it's really fun, and I have really no clue how these games are going to shake out. But, here you can see the playoff picture. The Denver Broncos being the 1 seed still blows my mind, and the Patriots being the 2 seed still blows my mind, and the Jags being the 3 seed. It's crazy, but that's the way it all shook out. And so Kyle here will be on the sideline. Hello, friends. Jim Nance, Tony Romo,
Every time.
Tracy
Every
Wolfson
time.
here. And then somewhere on the sideline will be Kyle along
They
with
won't
Tracy.
hear me, but I'll
Yeah.
be
You
down
will
there.
be there.
So, first of all, when's the last time Jacksonville hosted a playoff game?
Oh, I don't know
It's-
that.
it probably a few
it's been a
years.
little while.
It's been a-
Maybe the Blake Bortles team? They probably won the division.
Back in the day. Yeah. And so you got Josh Allen going on the road playing in the frigid Jacksonville Stadium, which I say jokingly because it's not really a hostile environment. But still, this is a good Jacksonville team with a good defense, and they're going to play a great generational quarterback here. So how do you see this game shaking out?
I think that, yes, Jacksonville's improved a lot. I think they have a bright future there. Trevor Lawrence has started to figure a lot of things out. Coaching has helped. I still think if I'm going pressure moment, I want a guy who's been
Correct.
tested, and I'm handing the ball to Josh
Yep.
Allen.
Then
and
why?
assuming that he will win.
Well,
every
at the
single
moment,
time.
Buffalo's favored, but by like a point. But I think I've seen that spread flip just a little bit. But Breland, you like that one?
Yeah, I
First game
have to
Sunday.
go Buffalo here. I think when I look at a playoff picture, the reason why not all of it, right? But I look at a guy like Patrick Mahomes, and the reason why the Chiefs have been so dominant for so long is that when he has the ball in his hands with 13 seconds and the game on the line, he's able to execute. There's no panic, there's no nothing. And I think sometimes experience is a very real thing for a team in a clutch moment. And if you're looking at the bracket here, there's a lot of inexperience on both sides.
Tons. I was
on
just thinking
both
that.
sides. And so I think we're going to, I'm not saying necessarily that there are fraudulent teams, but I do think that when it's one and done, it's treated a little bit differently. And I think we're going to see experience become a factor. If I'm a betting person right now, I have Josh Allen in the AFC Championship.
Okay. Let me take it a step further. Neither 1 seed in either conference makes it to the Super Bowl.
I agree.
I agree with that.
Right? And that's, I guess
Very much
that
agree.
happens.
And
mean,
I think Chicago loses as well.
Yeah, but the two seeds are both second-year quarterbacks.
Yeah.
The 2 buys, I don't think anybody has a lot of confidence in those quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I know it goes beyond QB, but there's a lot of flaws in this playoff field.
Yeah,
but
I
if
mean, it's great for the NFL in
For
terms
sure.
of parity,
Yeah.
but yeah, I very much agree with you. It'll be really, really interesting to see some.
If experience
some
matters, then is it Aaron Rodgers' time to shine? Then, if experience matters,
Well, it's not. They said experience is a part of it.
He got like the automatic bid. You know what I mean? Like he's the JMU of the NFL football. It's
that
just,
what-
like it's. Look, he's a guy who 3 years ago I would have been like, you know what, he's probably got one left in him. This one, I'm glad he made it to the playoffs in what will likely be his final season.
I do think we're sleeping on Houston here. C.J. Stroud, is this his year to kind of take a big leap forward? Do they go into Pittsburgh and win that game?
Yeah, I would think so.
I think they do, but it's going to be on the backs of that defense,
Right.
Yeah.
more so than it will be C.J. Stroud.
The Texans they're a weird franchise because they're always kind of in the mix, and yet I feel like people sleep on them constantly because they're just a mid franchise.
Or,
like there's nothing really like sexy about them.
Well-
they're just kind of there, and then they like don't ever have like a crazy result at the end of the season, and so.
And Justin Herbert always lets us down in the postseason.
I'm not a Justin Herbert person.
Well, maybe this is his year. They could win that game. Chargers.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
the
you
Patriots.
know that he's electric, and the Patriots. I mean, I'm not going to spend all segment on this, but they lost 3 times. They lost to the Bills, okay. They lost to the Steelers and Aaron Rodgers, fine. They also lost to the Raiders and Geno Smith.
Yeah.
All the quarterbacks they beat, okay, they beat Baker and Lamar, but they beat Joe Flacco, Bryce Young,
Bad team.
Tua, Justin
Frauds.
Fields, Spencer Rattler,
Yeah.
Dylan Gabriel.
Didn't play
Like,
anybody.
the
We've
list
got-
goes on of
it's
guys you've never heard of
pumpkins.
before.
Yeah, it is
it's-
pumpkins across the board.
But this weekend is so exciting. I love it. I usually go on a guys trip this weekend, for wild card weekend.
Yeah.
For years, Vegas, Miami. I'm staying home. Kids have games.
gonna say,
I gotta be
you get-
dad. I'm not really.
you get time off during football
No,
season?
I'm not off.
me.
I'm staying home. But the bottom line is this: of all the sports weekends there are, and there are some doozy fun ones, right?
Yeah.
That March Madness first weekend is a blast. I love the Masters weekend. That first, if you're a college football fan, that first weekend of college football on Labor Day where there's games all weekend, and of course this weekend, wild card weekend. So which one is your favorite? Looks like a majority of you, NFL wild card weekend. This is, multiple days of couch potato. Crack open a beer into the Lay's potato chips and don't move for an entire weekend.
Labor Day weekend was getting, but I
Getting a little
understand
love.
that
Jumping up
because
there.
there's a lot going on
Yeah.
during Labor Day weekend. It's just like a bonanza.
Are we
of
missing
everything.
any weekends there, or does that cover it?
Ooh, I mean, who doesn't love the Pro Bowl, right? Pro Bowl weekend. of course,
that
that's
is
the-
the worst. You know what? That is the worst sports weekend.
You know
I
what?
hate that
That's it.
weekend.
That's honestly the bet. We should do the worst weekend in sports. And the Pro Bowl has to be one of them.
Man, that's a good one.
By the time we do that segment, there may not be a Pro Bowl anymore. So we'll see what happens. But
All right, coming up next, Black Sunday, Black Tuesday, Black Monday. It's been
The final play of the regular season for the final spot in the playoffs. Tyler Luke from 44. Snap good. Hold it. The kick is no good. It is wide right.
And with that wide right kick, John Harbaugh's time on the sidelines for the Baltimore Ravens is over. Breaking news just a little while ago. He has been fired after 18 seasons with the Baltimore Ravens, Super Bowl champ, 12 playoff appearances, 6 division titles, coach of the year, and now a free agent coach with a lot of openings. So I wonder if do you think he's instantly swiped up, or does he take a couple
Yeah.
of years? Does he go to the media and do some of that? What do you think?
I mean, he might be in the media like the off season, but he's going to be hired by somebody immediately.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're talking about the Commanders' offensive coordinator getting interviews for head coaching jobs, why not go to the guy who's done it for 18 years and has a title under his
Yeah,
belt?
and I think either Harbaugh or Stefanski is going to be the next head coach of the New York Giants. I
Right.
mean, they
That's a good
need
one.
somebody with stability. They need somebody who
A little bit of structure up there.
Yes, and if you've had a job for 18 seasons, and I mean, I'm going to be honest. Yes, that kick was probably the nail in the coffin. If that would have been made and they would have won the game, it would have been fine. But that is not the reason why he got fired. They have had problems all
Right.
season long.
Yeah.
Well, which job's more attractive? Raiders right now with a first-round draft pick and Vegas and the whole thing, or Baltimore with a quarterback? I think Lamar's still in his prime-ish. Is he on the backside of 30?
I'd say Baltimore.
It's because
Yeah.
they're ready to win now.
Exactly. Like you get in there, you have a chance to establish your name heavily right off the bat. You're going to likely be back in the playoffs next season with an MVP caliber quarterback and a solid defense.
Stefanski to Baltimore. I like that.
Wouldn't be surprised.
I like that.
Yeah, it could be.
Coordinators, though. I mean, Dallas has an opening now.
Yeah, and Washington has two
Washington,
openings now, which is a little bit surprising because I thought they were kind of big on Kingsbury, but it is what it is. I do think, though, from a national perspective, Kyle, we have been so hard on Kevin Patullo. This is still an 11-win team. The grass is not necessarily always greener looking around the rest of the league when it comes to the coordinators.
That's fair. And one thing I'll say, I think that teams are too quick to move on sometimes.
I agree.
But
Yeah,
when
it's a
you've
win
been
now league.
for sure.
Yeah.
But when you've been in a building with a team that's been as explosive as the Eagles for this long, I know you weren't a play caller, I know you weren't a offensive coordinator previously, but Patullo's been here for a long time, and if he is struggling this much to get this offense going, I'd finally be in the camp of like, maybe it's time to do a one
Right.
and done with this guy.
Well, we were talking in the office. I think Jonathan Gannon goes and replaces Eberflus in Dallas. He becomes their defensive coordinator. I don't.
No, because that would be the smart move
Well, that's
for Jerry
true,
to make, which
but-
means he's not going to do it.
But because he's a former Eagles guy, might want to, let's stick it to the folks in Philly.
I also feel like you have to have a certain type of personality to work with Jerry Jones.
Well, that's true too.
And I'm not entirely sure that Jonathan Gannon has that personality.
Oh, I think he is. I think he would roll over and let Jerry, whatever you want, Jerry. That's
yeah.
fine.
Yeah, because what kind of personality does Gannon have, actually? Yeah, maybe a discussion.
Yeah.
He lied to Breland once.
No, what? Wait, you don't know that?
No.
He told me, yeah, he was like, I'm not interviewing, I'm staying, I'm not leaving.
This is
and
after.
then immediately.
Yeah, okay.
Was that after the
Arizona
NFC
shot.
Championship
It was
game
literally
against
on the
the
field of
Niners?
the NFC Championship, and then it was used in the tampering thing. Anyway.
And he took the job in Arizona, and it didn't work out. So, listen, I think the point here is that our court. Well, we know Vic Fangio, borderline Hall of Fame.
And I love that he
coordinator.
doesn't have any other aspiration. He just wants to be a defensive
Yeah.
coordinator, and he wants to be close enough that he can go to the Phillies. You know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I love the guy.
Yep.
One thing I'd say, I think that if the Cowboys do hire Jonathan Gannon, fans of the Eagles would be very excited about
Yeah.
that. That's
Well,
all I'll say.
Alrighty, we're gonna take our final timeout. Hey, so we have some breaking news here. The Bills are in search of a kicker because Prater is injured. They have signed Matthew Wright to the practice squad, which you don't need to know about that. Maddox Trujillo from Temple University was signed to a future/reserve contract. So good luck to him.
All right.
Kyle, you want to say
Go
hello
House.
to anybody?
Yeah. Hi, Maggie.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Bye,
Maggie.
guys. Hi, Maggie.